Does anything, Sean, go faster than an NFL season?
Oh my God, no, absolutely
Is
not.
this? It is. No, this is week 3, right?
Yeah,
Or 2.
week 3.
Damn, it does go fast. I'm confused. I was like, wait a minute. Is it week 2 or week 3?
No,
That's how fast it goes. I was still on last week. I'm like, oh my Lord.
And we even added a week this year, and it will still go just as fast.
I mean, it just goes like, and it's a week in between game. Well, not really, because you got the Thursday, Monday games too, so it kind of tightens it up a little bit from day to day, but it just goes by so fast. You think about it, you go out, you start doing all your prep work in August, start doing your research on who got added, who got subtracted, all that kind of stuff. You watch the draft, see who your team got, who everybody else got. So you laugh at the Jets picks like you do every year. And then, of course, the season gets started. And the next thing you know it, you're in the Super Bowl. And you're like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, but I will say the NFL does that great, though, with the free agency, the draft. They always keep themselves in the news, even though, their off season's so long. So,
what's crazy to me, Sean, is I was looking at the lines, is the NHL, I think, has games in like the next day or two, preseason games.
Okay, preseason, yeah.
Yeah, and then you got NBA. I was looking at the fantasy because I'm putting the fantasy stuff together for fantasy football, which I'll have up on Moneyline Madmen maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, for sure, no later than tomorrow morning. It's been a long day with the Parks handicapping contest over there at our sponsor, horseracingradar.com. So I got 90% of it done. Had to get the lines done for this game for NFL Week 3. Power rankings, I'll put those up there as well later on in the day, and you can go ahead and use those according to the article, but I'll be using them as we make our picks for the 3rd week, Sean. Not the 2nd week, but the 3rd week. I'm old. I'm confused. What can I say?
I'll wait till we get to week 18. People are going to be really like,
what?
There's a week 18?
Wow, pretty soon you'll be a legally drinking league. All right, so first game on the docket, Sean, is the Arizona Cardinals versus the Jacksonville Jaguars. Surprisingly, Arizona's only a 7-point favorite in some lines, 7.5 to as high as 8. So do you want Jacksonville plus 8, Sean?
No, I do not. I want Arizona.
You're going to come out of the box on Arizona on the road?
Listen, Jacksonville, they're still struggling. They're going to turn the ball over. Arizona's going to score when they want. They've been fine going on the East Coast at 1 o'clock. As a matter of fact, that whole theory that I had, it's the opposite right now. All the West teams are actually winning at 1 o'clock. So I don't have a problem giving up 7 to 8 points here.
So how many do you want to give up?
Well, what are my odds?
Well, 7 is -125. 7.5, you can get -108. And if you give, that's kind of funny that at -7, you're getting 125. That's crazy. So I would take the 7.5 -108. Or you can give up 8 and get -115. But I would go with -7, 108. I mean, that doesn't even make any sense. What kind of math is that?
Yeah, I'll do that.
So Sean's going to come right out of the box and take them. Well, to me, that 8 number is just about perfect according to the power rankings. I actually have it probably closer to 7. So Jacksonville might cover the game. Way too close for me to even think about taking either side. I can see Arizona just kind of playing down to Jacksonville, maybe getting a late score, just whatever they need to get the win and get the heck out of Jacksonville. Sometimes these games can be semi-letdown games for teams. They had a big game, big win on the missed field goal by Minnesota. I would have felt a lot better about Arizona had that Minnesota field goal gone in.
Yeah, that's true. Jacksonville's got a lot to work out yet with Lawrence and stuff, and their defense isn't going to stop Murray in Arizona.
Probably not. I would probably agree with you on that. On the total on that spot, Sean, is 51.5. What do you think?
So my problem with this is, like I said, I don't think Jacksonville's going to really stop Arizona, but I don't have much faith in that Jacksonville offense. So this is a total I wouldn't touch because I could see it doing either way. I mean, had to go one way, I'd go the over because I think Arizona's going to score, a bunch, and Jacksonville's probably going to turn the ball over. It's just a matter of how many points Jacksonville's going to score.
I see. Well, I have the game coming in at exactly 52 points, so only a half a point above the total. So Obviously, a half a point is not enough wiggle room. It's not enough comfort space for me, Sean. It's not a what do they call those places the kids go when they get freaked out? It's not a safe space for me, right?
There you go.
Yes, not at all a safe space for me. Let's take a look at the betting public, what they're doing with this game, Sean, right? Because it's important to see how the money is flowing. The Cardinals are taking 90% of the money, about 88% of the tickets. And for the folks that are making a play, Sean, believe it or not, the tickets are lined up about 54 or 55% towards the over, but the money is swollen to the over at over 90 cents on the game there, Sean, which is pretty intense in terms of that. It's one of the biggest discrepancies in tickets versus actual money on the weekend.
What I would actually do there, this is one of those I'd have more faith in Arizona's offense. If you want to bet an over there, I would go to Arizona's team total and just bet that.
You would take a look at that. Well, why don't you take a look at that real quick? So the next game on the board, Sean, is a dilemma. It's a conundrum for me. I don't know if I know a third word for dilemma. Maybe it's a confusing situation, but that's not really a word. That's two words. But in any case, you got the Indianapolis Colts against the Tennessee Titans coming off of that dramatic win up in Seattle. Is this a letdown game for the Titans, Sean?
It could be, but this also, I mean, it doesn't look like Wentz is going to play, I don't think. So I think Tennessee's going to win this game. I don't feel comfortable giving up the 5.5 with them, though, the way they've been inconsistent offensively.
And defensively, they've been giving up points.
Yeah. Jacob Eason goes, though. I don't see him scoring too much, but this line has me because really it should be, if Wentz is not going, this line should be more like a touchdown. But we don't officially know that. So,
well, it's 5.5. You can get 6, Sean. So you could take the Colts and 6. That's the line I use because that's the line that's available in DraftKings where I have to make my bets. But we go line shopping on this show. This is my conundrum. It says I should take the Colts. All right. So I think about that. All right, maybe I should take the Colts. But then I go ahead and look at the total on this spot, and it's one of the biggest differentials all weekend long between the total and the projected score in this game. They have a total of 47, Sean. I have them going considerably over 47. So my question is, do I take the Colts or do I take the total?
I'd be on the other side of both of them. So, but
that makes me feel better. Maybe I should take both.
Well, here's the problem with the again, it all comes down to who's starting at quarterback. Do you trust Indianapolis to score a bunch of points with Jacob Eason in?
Well, I mean, the total is only 48, 47. So I think
and
that's 23-24 in an NFL game. And nowadays with the rules, 24 points is, I mean, so you figure 21-21, right? That's probably a very typical score. So I get to 21-21. I just need one more team to score a touchdown to get me to 28-21. That's 49. The game goes over.
So you're right. My issue, though, is Tennessee's going to grind it out with Henry as well. It's a division game. Division games are usually more lower scoring.
He doesn't really grind, Sean. He tosses. He takes defensive backs and he's like, woo.
He is the one running back that it only takes him 1 or 2 plays to get to the end zone. That is totally true.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
going to go with the over, Sean, because the differential on the over is substantially higher. And I feel like Tennessee's probably going to win this game. And I feel like if the Colts win, it's going to be a tight game that maybe they win coming from behind to get like a cheap field goal to get him within one score so they can maybe get the onside kick. But I do expect that there's going to be a lot of points in this game. I feel like Tennessee is going to let down a little bit. Their defense has given up points. Their offense will score points. And I just feel like all I need, I think, for this game to go over is probably over 20 from the Colts. And if I get that, I think the game goes over. So I'm going to put 20 on the total.
And it's over 47.5?
47. So I'm liking that at minus 108, Sean.
Okay. And then Ronaldo here, what does the tickets compare to the cash? I never understood that all the way in betting.
The minus thing?
Yeah. So he's saying, what does the tickets mean compared to the cash? How you've been explaining it?
What do the tickets mean compared to? Okay. So what that means, Ronaldo, is let's say that there's 100 bets. And in that 100 bets, I say the tickets are 50-50. That means 50 people bet one side of the game and the other 50 people bet the other side of the game. But everybody doesn't bet the same amount of money. And because they don't bet the same amount of money, what happens is, let's say those same 100 people bet, but of the bets, 92 cents out of every dollar is on team B and not on team A. So although the tickets are split 50-50, the folks who are betting more money are betting on the team where I'm talking about the money splitting.
That's the so-called smart money as well.
That's what they say.
Yeah.
So does that make sense, Ronaldo? I hope so, because sometimes I can explain things so confused that when I'm done explaining, I don't remember what I was talking about. But for example, in this game, the money, so 22% of the tickets are on the Colts at minus 5.5. So at plus 5.5. But 44 cents on the dollar. So what that's telling me is most of the people are betting on the Titans, but the folks who are betting bigger dollars are betting on the Colts. As far as the game is concerned, Sean, it looks like I'm on the right. I picked the right side of this one because 42% of the tickets are on the over, but almost 80 cents of the dollar is on the over. So I am the so-called smart money tonight, Sean.
Okay, we'll see.
And it looks like DeLong agrees with you. Jacksonville is going to get crushed.
Yeah, I mean they should, but you never know what teams come.
Yeah, well, you never can tell, right? It's tough to tell. It's any given Sunday in the NFL. I think they made a movie like that. Mm-hmm. Baltimore against Detroit. Boy, I'm going to run out of my games. I only have like 3 picks today, Sean, because I'm going to, as I said at the start of the year, I'm going to stick to my discipline. My discipline is in one of these games. So Baltimore is on the road. I know Lamar Jackson might not play. I think he's going to play. Maybe he should celebrate a little less enthusiastically when they beat Kansas City. Act like you've done it before. But he hadn't done it before. So Baltimore is laying 7.5 against the lowly Detroit Lions. Any way on the planet Detroit can stay within 7.5, Sean?
Well, the issue is, and the reason I'm staying away from the game is that big win Monday night in Kansas City. Now you go to Detroit. And I will say one thing about Detroit. They're not the most talented team, but that coach has them playing hard. So
the whole coach has them playing hard thing, huh?
Well, he does. And Goff has played all right in Detroit too so far. I mean, he's put the ball where he needs to be. So it just scares me that it could be one of those sleepwalking games that Baltimore, either wins or survives late. One of those deals. They win by a touchdown.
I don't know. Detroit is struggling pretty badly, I feel like, to even figure their defense is just brutal. They've given up points right and left and right and left. And I mean, even Green Bay scored a lot of points against them. You were so enthusiastic about Green Bay, you went ahead and took Aaron Jones scoring a couple touchdowns. I feel like they're going to run all over Detroit, and their defense is pretty solid. So Detroit's going to have a real hard time running the ball. They're going to become one-dimensional. Baltimore's going to create some turnovers. I can even see the Baltimore defense taking one to the house, as they say. I wouldn't be at all surprised to see Baltimore win this game by 2 touchdowns, maybe even 3. My second play of the week, Sean, is the Baltimore Ravens laying 7.5.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's just something tells me it's just a weird thing. Baltimore winning that game Monday at Kansas City, then going to Detroit, and the line's only 7.5. It's one of those. I think
that's because they're uncertain about Lamar.
Yeah, and it could be. And if he doesn't play, that's a whole nother,
I don't think it matters. And they hand off right, hit off, and maybe they actually complete a few passes. The offense, passing offense might look pretty good at that point.
Yeah.
So I think I might be done for the day. That's pretty terrible. Early on, I should have kind of spaced them out a little bit. Okay, so Washington and Buffalo, Sean. The Washington squad, the Washington football team against the Buffalo Bills. I don't think the Bills have any need to change their name. Looked like the Bills got it together last week. They're going to lay 7 against a good defense that hasn't been so good at the start of the year. Gave up a ton of points to the totally average New York Giants offense. I think maybe you could see some points scored in this game on the Josh Allen side.
Possibly, but then you got Buffalo's good defense too, and Washington's defense isn't that bad. I'm sure they'll.
They gave up 29 to the Giants.
Yeah, I know. It was a Thursday night. That was a Thursday night. Now they've had 10 days. This line, the only thing actually I would think about here would be the under, but I'm not going to touch either one. But the touchdown seems about right to me.
Yeah, looking at it, it says that you should take Buffalo, but only by like a fraction of a point. So Buffalo wins. Buffalo covers according to the power rankings. As far as the total is concerned, the number in this game is 45, I think.
45 and a half.
Yeah, 45 and a half. According to the my projections, the teams are going to combine for 48. So the game is, I think it'll be a real close game in terms of that Vegas line. It'll be close to the spread, and it'll be close to the total. So I'm going to pass on both. But as far as the money is concerned, Sean, looking at at this game, so let me find it real quick. Where do they hide this one?
We haven't seen the explosive Josh Allen Buffalo offense yet neither. So one of these weeks they're going to just go out and score 38 points, but it hasn't been there yet.
So looking at the spread is heavily favored towards Buffalo. 60% of the tickets are on Buffalo. 75% of the money is on Buffalo. And the majority of the money, tickets are split 50-50, but 2/3 of the money is on the game going under. So I'm on the opposite side of that in terms of what my projections say, Sean. New Orleans, do they rebound this week, Sean, with Jameis Winston? Is he going to be the 5-touchdown Jameis, or is he going to be the 75 yards in a game Jameis?
I would say he's going to be in between. You're going to get a good Jameis. You're not going to get 5-touchdown Jameis. This is another one. I have no official play here. I think, the Saints had all kinds of issues with COVID and stuff with coaches last week, so they just basically didn't show up. I think this might be a good underdog here. They're only a 3-point underdog, but I think I could definitely see the Saints going into New England and winning this game.
Yeah, I mean, I think their defense should befuddle the young quarterback, Matt Jones. He hasn't really had to put the team up on his back and win the game, right? Because the defense is basically taking care of stuff. Mm-hmm. Against the Jets, they were never really out of the game. So essentially, I mean, the Jets were never in that game. So Matt Jones hasn't really been stressed in the NFL yet. I think he's going to get stressed this weekend for the first time. I agree with you. I do think there's a pretty good chance that New Orleans can walk into New England and actually come out with a win. It's not enough for me to take it, but I do have the Saints covering in this game. And if you took the Saints, you can get the Saints +3, Sean, if you wanted to do it. This line's going to move down to this looks to me like this line's actually going to move maybe to 3.5, Sean, because everything is like 120, 118. You can get them +2.5 for -105.
Yeah, and then you talk the total. I would lean the under, but we're at that real low total of 43. It only takes a really good offensive start, a couple plays, and then you're in trouble already. So I stayed away from it.
On the total?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's 43. I have them coming in at 41. I have it a pretty close game. I actually have the New Orleans Saints winning 23-18, so by about 5 points. I know it sounds like enough to get by, but that's my score projection. That's not the power rankings. And as far as making bets, I rely on the power rankings, not on my scores that I use to kind of calculate fantasy football stuff. But I also use it to calculate what the likely total points will be. A lot of times I get the total points correct, but I don't necessarily, I'm going to say correct, but accurate. But I don't necessarily assign the right. It might be 23-18 in favor of New England, but they still come together and score 41, if that makes any sense at all.
Yeah, absolutely. You just don't have the right total by the right team, but you have the right total.
Right. I have the right final score, but not necessarily who's scoring that final score. So in that game between the Saints and the Patriots, the money is heavily on New England, but those folks in Boston, they like to bet, Sean. So they're putting a lot of money on their team, but everybody's really split. The tickets are 50-50. The money is 50-50 on the total. Again, I would lean the Saints and I would lean the under.
The other thing is everybody's got that vision of the Saints team last week again. It's always that overreaction. So it's probably a good time to bet the Saints because they had all kinds of issues leading up to that game last week.
Yeah, they did. I mean, everybody on the whole team was out, right?
Yeah.
At least the coaching staff, the Chargers and Kansas City. So I think about a specific event, Sean. I don't know if you'll recall this event, but Patrick Mahomes went to a golf tournament. Do you remember this?
Maybe.
So when he was at the golf tournament, somebody yelled out to him, I think they yelled out, Justin Herbert or something along those lines. And he said something like, we'll see, or I'll believe it when I see it, I think is what he said.
Okay, yeah, I remember this. Yep.
So here's his chance, Justin Herbert, to make Patrick Mahomes believe what he sees, The Chargers just lost to the Cowboys. Everybody that I read says that the Chargers were arrogant coming into that game. They're getting 7 points, Sean. You can take the Chargers. You can get 7. You can get it for minus 108.
Yeah, so this is a pass. I just think this is going to be a really good game. I think Kansas City ultimately wins, but I don't know by how much. I think this touchdown is probably about the good line. I was looking at some prop bets for this. I seen one of them. You can get Mahomes and Herbert both going over 300 yards passing for like plus 250, and I think that's a good bet there because
Do you think so? Because I think the weakness for the Chiefs is not their pass defense.
Yeah, but Justin Herbert is done a pass. It doesn't matter what the defense is. Chargers are going to put up passing yards if they want to put up passing yards, and they're going to need to keep up scoring with Mahomes in Kansas City.
See, I think if you're the Chargers, your game plan has to be that Kansas City has a really second-rate run defense. You got to run those running backs at them over and over and over again. Consume the clock, keep Mahomes off the field, try to tire out their defense so that you can wear them out in the second half. But in any case, Kansas City does win this game. I have the Chargers covering by about 3. They seem to play them very well. I would expect a bounce-back game from the Chargers as well. I do expect Kansas City to bounce back as well. But in the beginning of the year, these Andy Reid teams so many times to me just seem like they just do what they need to do to win as they gear up for the second half of the year.
Yeah, it's possible. So what I do like in here, and I'll make official, is I do like the over. I think this is a back-and-forth game.
So the total in this game, Sean, is 54. So you can get 54 at minus 110 or 54.5 for minus 108. I'd probably take the 54, but I'll leave that up to you.
Yeah, I'll take the 54 minus 110.
I have the game, Sean, going to 53. So I hope that you're right and that it goes over and that there's an extra few points in there somewhere.
And I think this is the game, too. I mean, if you haven't watched Justin Herbert yet, Mahomes is always going to wow you. Herbert will do that tomorrow, too. He always puts the ball exactly where it needs to go.
Always. To the right player or to the right spot?
To the right spot, usually. Mm-hmm. And usually the right player. But he's always accurate. It's unbelievable. So
the Chiefs are laying 7. And they're taking in about 75% of the money, a little bit more than 55% of the tickets. And the total is a split, Sean, 50-50. So the money is 50-50, but slightly the tickets are leaning on the over. So most of the masses, if you will, are betting the over. The next game on the board is Atlanta and the New York Giants. I mean, can Atlanta beat anybody, Sean?
If they can, this is the team. I mean,
you think they can beat the Giants on the road? Yeah,
I do. I think this is I would lean Atlanta. I'm not making it official. This is getting in the 1-800-NEED-HELP game because both of these teams are bad and going to be bad all year.
To me, I think the Giants have a better defense. They have a better offense. I mean, the Falcons have really struggled all year. Matt Ryan, I think, has more touchdowns to the other team than he does to his own team so far on this season. So I think if there's a spot the Giants are going to win and maybe dominate in, this is a game I was hoping, to be honest with you, that the Giants would actually come out as a team to bet on the power rankings, but I mean, it's just right on the line. So I don't get the spread that I need, but I think the Giants win this game. Personally, I think the Giants win this game handily. And I think if you're looking for a cheap fantasy quarterback this week, keep an eye on, what's his name? Daniel Jones from the Giants. I think he'll throw for a lot of yards, and I think it's very likely he runs for a decent amount of yardage and maybe even runs a touchdown in. What do you think about the total in this game, Sean? The total in the Atlanta game is 47.5.
Oh, man. You don't know what you're going to get from either one of these offenses, and they also like turning the ball over. It's the fact that they like turning the ball over to the other team and scoring touchdowns, because both Matt Ryan and Daniel Jones have a habit of doing that. I'd lean the over.
I have them coming in at 46, so a little bit under that 47.5. But again, I'm close to taking the Giants, and that would be breaking away from the power ranking. But just the eye test tells me the Giants are the better team. And then I feel like Saquon Barkley makes his return to the NFL this week, something he's not done. He's kind of been absent since he hurt his knee and came back.
He had that good run last week, and that was about it. That was good to see, though. He had that good run. He had that burst, but that was the only thing he had that game.
But it looks like everybody's agreeing with you, Sean, because about 60% of the tickets are on Atlanta, 3/4 of the money. So the people think the Giants kind of really stink. And they are taking the over, though. 75 cents on the dollar is betting this game to go over the total. Chicago is taking on every team with the letter C in the league. Last week they played Cincinnati. This week they head off to Cleveland, the mistake by the lake, to face off against the Baker Mayfield and the Cleveland Browns. You can get the Bears plus 7.5 for minus 108, or you can lay 7.5 for Cleveland and get minus 110 or minus 125. I got a feeling you're taking Cleveland, Sean.
I would take Cleveland to win, but the total, again, it scares me at a touchdown. And you got Justin Fields going for Chicago, so we'll see what happens there. I probably feel more comfortable laying the 7 with Dalton in than I do with Fields, because you just never know. And he looked pretty good in the preseason.
Yeah, but that was preseason. He looked horrible in the game last week.
Yeah, but he also didn't have all week of practice and stuff like that. They knew he was starting. So game plan will be focused around Justin Fields this week. I expect Cleveland to win. I don't want to give up a touchdown in this spot, though.
If this game goes down a half a point to say by kickoff, and Cleveland is a 6.5 point favorite, not a 7 point favorite. I mean, the one thing at least is Justin Fields is returning to Ohio, right? OHIO, go to Ohio State game. They spell that 10,000 times, like they failed it in a spelling test. But if the game were to come down to 6.5, Sean, I would take Cleveland. At 7, I won't take them because that's a number that they can finish on. I feel like Cleveland wins this game. And the thing about Justin Fields is he either puts really good games on the board or really bad games on the board. Was his resume at Ohio State. If
you want Cleveland at 6.5, you don't have to wait. You're just not going to get very good value. You can get them minus 6.5 for minus 130.
I'll just wait to see how the line goes. Like I said, I'll be disciplined, Sean.
Okay.
Right. Yeah, I'm not going to pay for, something I don't need to pay for. I'll just stick with my few bets that I have, hope they come in and win, and then sit at the end of the day and say, okay, I won a few bucks. I'm happy about that. Right.
Yeah.
But 88% of the money is on Cleveland. So that line might actually go to 7.5. And the total is 44.5, and 70% of the money, 60% of the tickets think this game is going to go over, Sean. And the total in this game is 44.5. So they're expecting Justin Fields to put up some points.
Yeah, and that's possible. I didn't feel very strongly one way or the other, but I would expect Fields to push the issue a little bit, be able to score. The only thing is Cleveland can run that ball and run that clock out. So if they get up, they can just play defense and run it with Nick Chubb. So I didn't feel confident either way on this one.
Yeah, so I have the game going over by by about 5.5 points. I'm pretty close to 44.5. If I could get 44, I would be in. So that other half a point would be a difference for me, Sean, but I don't get that half a point yet. So I promised myself I'd stay disciplined. I'm heavily leaning over because I have the game coming in at 50. So if it goes down to 44, I guess I could buy a half a point on one side or the other and then play it the other way. But I'll wait to see in the morning if maybe the numbers go my way and I can get a few more pennies. Just remember that tomorrow, if the line drops a half on the total or a half on the spread, that I would definitely take Cleveland on one of those two. As far as the money is concerned, I did mention that most of the money is backing the Browns and most of the money is backing the over. Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, this game, I don't know if it has the same kind of vitriol that it used to have when Montez Perfect was in there banging people over the middle, and Juju Smith-Schuster ended his career with a nice clean shot. But Pittsburgh is a favorite in this spot, Sean, and I don't know if necessarily they should be because Joe Burrow might be the better quarterback already.
Yeah, he probably is. I expect Pittsburgh to rebound here. The only thing is I don't want to give up 3. I feel like Pittsburgh could win this game by a field goal. So this might be. I thought
you said you had a lot of plays, and now you're kind of like running away from everything.
Well, I still have at least 4 more plays.
You have 4 more. I don't even think there's 4 games left.
Yeah, there is. You haven't even got to the 4 o'clock games yet.
Let's see. Pittsburgh and the Bengals. So at 3, 87% of the money, only 40% of the tickets are on Cleveland. But man, are they betting. That is the biggest differential between money and tickets, hands down. And then as far as the total is concerned, it's 50-50 in the tickets, but most of the people are leaning the under in this spot, under 43. Looking at the game, I think that you're going to see, as far as Cincinnati and Pittsburgh, says barely. 3 is the absolute right number, so 2.5 would be, I think, a little bit better for Bengals backers, but it does say take the Bengals, the power ranking system. And as far as the total is concerned, it says that this game should probably go under 43. I have them coming in at a combined 40, Sean.
Yeah, I would almost lean the over here. I think Pittsburgh's offense is going to look a lot better. And then you got Burrow slinging it around too. So I would expect the over.
I wonder what the weather's going to be like out there.
Well, yeah.
Las Vegas with a chance to go 3-0. Tua is out. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing for Miami because Tua's been kind of ineffective, I'd say, right?
Yeah, I mean, he was doing what he needed to do, be a game manager, and now they have their backup in Jacoby Brissett. He can kind of do the same thing.
Yes, but they got to have to find a way to score points, Sean.
Yeah, you know, what scares me about this game is I feel like it's awfully low knowing that Tua's out and Brissett's in there. 3.5. I also expect the Raiders are not going to, Raiders might be overvalued at this point. So,
but I mean, you figure they're saying this is an even game because the home team gets a 3-point advantage. So they're giving the Raiders a 0.5 point of premium over the Miami Dolphins without their starting quarterback. It seems to me that line is not overvalued in Las Vegas's favor. It seems to me almost undervalued.
Well, yeah, it's fishy, but the only thing I will say is Brissett did start, in this league before. He started with the Colts last year, and he didn't. He was actually putting up good numbers, so they might even be able to throw the ball better with Brissett than they did with Tua. So I don't know how much that actually means.
You're not sure what that means. Okay, well, looking at the total, at most of the money is back in the Raiders, Sean. They're even at the 3.5. The Raiders are taking about 3/4 of the money, 3/4 of the tickets, but most of the people see this game going under 44. It's kind of split on the number of tickets, but the bigger bets are coming down on the game going under 44. I am actually on the other side of that, Sean. I think that game is going to go over 4. I had it at 43.5. in my DraftKings account. Right here, it's at the total. The best line we can get in that game is 44. There's a 43.5, Sean.
Yeah, I'd agree with you on that.
You're going to take the total here, or you're betting the next 3 games?
No, I'm just leaning the over. It just does concern me. The reason I'm not taking the Raiders, it concerns me. Carr does turn the ball over, and Miami's defense can create a lot of turnovers. So, and this line's also fishy. You just said the Raiders, most of the money's coming in on the Raiders. You'd expect this total to be a lot higher than 3.5. Something's fishy about this game.
So you're confusing me with total because you have the over under the total and then the spread. So you're confusing me. But I
would lean the over. Typically, what we see here, and I would want to go the Raiders, but this is one of those kind of like Tennessee last week when I said Tennessee would beat Seattle, and it makes no sense. It almost. Watching tomorrow, I'd almost bet you Miami's going to win this game.
Well, I'm going to take this game as an over. I think Miami's going to score points. I think Las Vegas is going to score points. I think there's a good chance there could be a defensive touchdown in this game for one side or the other. And I always feel like if there's a defensive touchdown, Sean, that the game goes over. It just feels like those are extra points. So I'm going to take the over in this game at 43.5, Sean. $20 -110. I'm stretching just a little bit. I'm hoping that maybe by the morning, when I get up and I make my best, that the number goes actually down a little bit.
That's possible.
Yeah, I mean, I doubt it, but I'll take 44.5 for -1, 43.5 for -110 because the line looks like it's starting to rise. So I'll lock it in now because more likely I think it'll be higher tomorrow than lower. Tampa Bay versus the Los Angeles Rams. This is a statement game in week number 3. Both teams probably want to show the other team who's the boss. You got the Buccaneers at -1 on the road. So they're the favorite on the road against the Rams. You're a Super Bowl team, Sean. So I got to imagine you're getting a point. You're going to be all over the Rams.
I'm not even worried about the points. I'll take the +100. The Rams are winning this game. Tampa Bay couldn't even stop Matt Ryan in Atlanta. A Rams should be able to go up and down the field against this defense. And I expect the Rams defense to finally show up a little bit here. Although it's going to be a shootout game. It's going to be a shootout game, but I expect the Rams to come out on top.
So you got +106, Sean. That's the best number I can get you for the Rams on the money line. And I had the money line open because I knew you were going to go that way.
You know what? I knew last week when I saw the matchup in LA, I was taking the Rams.
He's taking the Rams. Didn't even look at it. Just made up his mind. I don't care about anything on the ground. I want the Rams.
Atlanta was moving the ball up and down against this Tampa defense. And Rams have gone up and down the field all year too with Stafford. I really think, they're going to win this game.
All right. Well, the line at -1, the Buccaneers are taking in 2/3 of the money and 2/3 of the bet. As far as the total is concerned, 55.5, Sean. 55. So it's all a bunch of 55s. It's a speed limit. 55.5 is the total, and 55% of the money is on the over in this game. Any taking for you on that game?
No, since I'm just taking the Rams to win, I would lean the over. I don't want to bet both sides of the game like you did.
55 so. in a professional football game is not college.
Yeah, well, Tampa Bay and Atlanta put up a ton of points, and Rams offense is a lot better than Atlanta's. And I realized the Rams defense is a lot better than Atlanta's as well. But these two teams, their style so far this year has been just go up and down the field and give up points on the other side. So
this game's going to go, I think, under, Sean, because 55 in an NFL game, 55 points is like priced to perfection. I have him coming in at 53. So I have it barely coming under. But from watching so many NFL games in my life, Sean, 55.5. You got to score 27 points. You got to have 28 points per quarter. Per half to go over. That's a lot of points. It may go over, but I think the smart money would definitely be on the under. And I know everybody's piling in on the over.
It's just a touchdown per team per quarter.
Yeah, but okay, so. Just like we talk about in college football, when you get those like around 7. So 55 to me in college in pro football is like 70 in college football. And that's that number where you start to get to you have to score on every drive. And if you get a deep drive and you get a missed field goal, or you get one of those drives that takes up 7 to 8 minutes, and then you turn the ball over, or you only get a field goal. In that case, it makes it almost impossible to get to 55.5. And if one side gets ahead on the other side, and then they start to really try to kill that fourth quarter, it makes it difficult. So to me, 55 is that's to me, once it starts crossing 55, 56, I'm looking at any opportunity to take the under. I'm not going to do it here because I do have them coming close, but that's the way I viewed it for a long time now. Seattle and Minnesota. Minnesota's got to feel like they're the worst team in football, Sean. Their field goal kicker, did they get rid of him or did they keep him? Do you know?
I think they kept him. I haven't heard anything otherwise. So I believe they kept him. I'm taking Minnesota here. I think they are going to get one. And this is a good spot. Seattle's on the road. You don't have to go into Seattle or anything. So I think Minnesota's better than their record, and they're not going 0-3.
Well, this game started as a pick, and the money is definitely looking like at least the line is moving towards Seattle because it's anywhere from 1 to -2. So you can get anywhere from 1 to 2, Sean. So you can get +2 for 108, or you can get +1.5 for 105, or you can take +1 for 102, or you can take the money line. What do you want to do?
I'm taking the money line. Like I said, if it's less than a field goal, I'm always taking the money line.
So you're going to get +110 on that money line, Sean. I have Seattle winning this game, but it's going to be close, Sean. It's going to probably be 1 or 2 points either way. And I have this game in 1 or 2 points within the over and under 2. They're projected this. The total on this game is 50.5. I have them scoring 51. The total is 55. I have them scoring 51. I have Seattle winning this game 27.8 to 26. So that's what I'm saying. It's going to be one of those games that's like right on the number. And
my one concern is I believe Dalvin Cook is questionable. Hopefully he's able to go.
Yeah,
but
Madison's good too, though.
Yeah, they do have other running backs that can. They're just not him. So hopefully Cook plays.
So at the folks are all over Seattle, 60% of the money, 72% of the tickets. So the smart money is backing Sean and taking the Vikings. As far as the total is concerned, they're heavily on the under here. 94% of the money is on the under. So that's a huge discrepancy between 50-50 and the tickets. So that means for every dime that they're betting on the over, on the under, on the over, they're betting 90 cents on the over, on the under. So it's that's one of the biggest discrepancies of the day. Finally, the last game of the night, the Green Bay Packers head out to the Bay, back to Aaron Rodgers. homeland. I don't know if his parents will be in the stands. I doubt it. But Drew says he wants to take the Raiders. We didn't talk about the Broncos.
I was just going to tell you, I know you skipped the Jets game on purpose here.
Yeah, not really. All right, so Green Bay and San Francisco. Then we'll go back to the Jets, Sean.
So I think this is the rebound game for Green Bay. They looked horrible week 1, week 2. It took them a while. I don't think San Francisco is as good as they've been looking. I would be concerned about how many points they gave up to Detroit in week 1. I think this is a perfect opportunity to take Aaron Rodgers as the underdog on Sunday night. And I'm not a big Aaron Rodgers fan, but I want him in my corner Sunday night. And I take Green Bay to win this game.
Are you going to take them to win outright? Or you're going to go money line again?
Yep.
Oof. Sean's taking the road. You're going to get plus 145 for that, Sean. I have San Francisco winning. I have San Francisco covering. Not by enough to bet them, but I know for sure Green Bay has struggled. So has Aaron Rodgers when they've gone out to face the 49ers. I don't see that changing to this time around. The defense is definitely going to be probably at least as good as what he saw against the New Orleans Saints, and he really struggled against the Saints. Maybe he needs to eat a little bit more. I'm not sure. But as far as the money goes and all that kind of good stuff, Sean, the money is favoring it's favoring the 49ers, but the tickets are favoring the Packers, and everybody and their brother thinks there's no way in this game is going over 50.5, Sean.
Yeah, that's a tough total. That's one I stayed away from.
I have them coming in at 41. I mean 51, not 41.
Okay.
41, I would be all over the under. But at 51, I can't even think about that game. Okay, your favorite team. What's the over under for interceptions by Zach Wilson? That's what I want to know. That's the only thing I think that's even in question.
It's probably 1.5. He'll probably throw at least 2. So this is one of my better bets. I've had 3 underdogs that I'm taking money line. I've had and I had Arizona giving up 7.5. I am taking Denver minus 10.5.
It's going to take the Broncos. You can get a minus 10 for 108, Sean. So I'll give you a little bit of a bonus there.
Their defense is really, really good. Jets offense hasn't done anything. You said about Zach Wilson throwing the interceptions. Teddy Bridgewater as a starter is the best against the spread since like 2016. All the numbers point to Denver, and I am shocked that they're only 10-point favorite. So as a Jets fan with a Jets shirt on right now, I love Denver tomorrow.
Well, I don't know what your shirt means, but I have the Broncos winning. But I have the Jets covering. I think the Broncos win by about 8, Sean.
Really?
Yes. I could see the Jets in the backdoor cover. At some point in time, I actually liked Zach Wilson's attitude last week when he said, well, aren't they supposed to boo me when I play like that? So I think that kid is going to be resilient. I think he's going to bounce back. I think he's going to have a better game than people expect against that Broncos defense. I think it'll probably be a low-scoring game because the Jets' defense is not that bad. Considering how many bad spots that Zach Wilson has put them in so far, they have not given up a ton of points. So I think it's going to be a pretty close game. I feel like the Jets' defense can keep them in the game, provided that the Zach Wilson doesn't give them the ball over and over and over again, which could be impossible.
What the Jets have done so far this year is, like you said, the defense has kept them in the game, and then there just becomes a point that the defense is on the field too much or he puts them in the wrong situation, and then they start caving in.
Yeah.
So
they haven't given up a lot of points. So I think that the Jets cover, but I'm not going to play them because they're the Jets. And because you have their shirt on. And
this would be, if you're doing the suicide polls, I would take Denver here. Use Denver up while you could.
Oof, I don't know if I would take Denver in this spot, but maybe. So you have the total's 42. I have the game coming in at 38, Sean, which has given me even more reason to believe that the Jets have a chance to cover. But I'm not going to play the total here, Sean, or the game. I've got 3 bets in. That's all I'm going to do for this week. Maybe I'll have something different on Monday. I don't know. I haven't looked at Monday's game yet between the Cowboys and the Eagles. As far as the game is concerned between the Broncos and the Jets, 82% of the money is on the Broncos. So obviously Vegas is pulling for the Jets, and 95% on the dollar is on the under. So Vegas is pulling for this game to go over. I don't see it happening.
Yeah, I would lean towards the under too.
I agree with you, Drew. I think the Raiders are going to win. All right, so Sean, just a recap of the things that you did.
All right, so I got Denver minus the 10.5 versus the Jets. I got the Rams winning straight out against Tampa plus 106. Minnesota to beat Seattle plus 110. Arizona giving up 7.5 to Jacksonville. Shootout, Kansas City, LA, over 54. And then Sunday night, Green Bay's going to go into San Fran and win at plus 145.
I've got Baltimore laying 7.5, Sean. Is that right? Or 7?
7.5.
7.5. I hope that line comes down. I have the over in the Indianapolis, Tennessee game, right?
Yep.
And I have the over in the Raiders game. And those are my picks until Monday night. I said I'm going to play it close to the vest all year long, Sean, because I want to do my best to end up with a really good record at the end of the year. Hopefully I go at least 2-1 tomorrow. It's always my goal. If I can have one more win per day than loss, at the end of the month, I'll be up 30 units.
Absolutely.
Anything else before we get up and out of here, Sean?
No, that's it. You got up this morning. You went 3-0 in college football. So
yeah, and then I had a stupid soccer tie kill me in the in my parlay there. Just horrible. I hate soccer, Sean. I hate it. I just need now the Angels to hold on. They were winning. I don't know if they're winning. Oh, they're winning 7-1. So hopefully they can hold on and now have a decent day because they were a plus line. All right, Sean. So everybody, make sure you head over to Moneyline Madman, register, tell us who you like on the weekend. Follow us on Twitter and Facebook at Making It Easy at Moneyline Madman. Tell your friends about us and make sure tomorrow you head on over to Horse Racing Radar. That's our sponsor. Join their free well, it's not a free contest. You got to use your coins, but I think you get 1 million coins for free. Yep. I don't know exactly how that works, but go ahead and sign up for that and follow along. Make your picks at, I think we're playing at Monmouth tomorrow. And if you win that, you can get $50. Use that towards your your bankroll for the Sunday games. And finally, I will be putting up the power rankings, but you're going to have to register to see those. They'll be under my, I'll put them in my timeline. And then I will be putting up either later on tonight or tomorrow morning, my fantasy football rankings for week number 3. And that wraps up this week 3 of the NFL, Sean. Well, not yet. Monday night wraps it up, but it's amazing how fast we get here, how fast the show goes. And hopefully tomorrow when we're looking at it, we'll have a bunch of winners.
Absolutely.
All right, Sean, until we meet again on Monday at 4:30 Eastern. Until then, everybody, as always, I hope that all your tickets are winners and may you have a fantastic Sunday playing the NFL.